Word on the internet has it that Costco Serrano goes on sale around a week before Christmas. This year, it's not quite the $60 deal that Reddit had me hope for, but still enough to make me bite the bullet finally. I am, of course, talking about the whole hamon, the stuff that we've all been eyeing for years. Is it worth it? I will be a guinea pig. Inside the box, we got the ham, a box with parts for the stand, a carving knife, an instructions sheet. The ham was really massive and really heavy. I know this makes me sound massively out of shape, but I blame it on its ungainly shape. The package says no less than 14.33 pound. Feels more than that to me. So I got my trusted scale, and lo and behold, 17.3 pound. Score! The wooden stand felt very lightweight, definitely cheaper than it looked, but that didn't bother me. It had so few parts, I thought it'd be simple to put together by hand, as the instruction expects you to. 3 holes, 5 screws, totally obvious. I don't even need instructions. I'ma wing it. First screw, in. Easy. Now we just gotta put these two little guys in.
15 minutes later.
How has no one complained about this stand yet? The drill holes are very tight, very hard to work with, which really makes you notice how ungainly this stand is. The screws are so impossible to work with manually. I figured, let's try the electric drill, which only made matters worse. I stripped the screws. Backing out, backing out.
1 eternity later.
I replaced the screw with my own. I swear I've made my share of IKEA furnitures and cheap bookshelves from Amazon. None had given me as much rage as this stand has. The carryover rage had me judge this equally cheap-looking knife. Look at this. It doesn't even cut paper. Look how badly it cuts. This is how a proper knife cuts vegetables. At this point, I was ready to be disappointed by the ham. I am a big fan of prosciutto, particularly the amazingly tender San Daniel, and I know Serrano costs almost as much per pound, so this deal was too good to pass up for me. I have always known Serrano to be less tender and more flavor-forward than prosciutto, so I was prepared for something a lot drier and tougher, like a speck, which I actually also enjoy a lot. Going in with the freebie knife, it honestly cut better than I expected. It may be no good for paper and squash, but apparently good enough for this ham, which is in a weird way complimentary of the ham, I think. The fat cap on mine is surprisingly not that thick, reserving them for covering the cut side later. This is surprisingly moist and soft on the inside. The fat is tender and almost melty at room temperature. Instruction says to leave some fat on the ham for flavor. Wouldn't need to convince me. It's kinda unfathomable to peel all the fat off prosciutto, and just sacrilege to waste all this flavorful meat. This fat would work beautifully in a carbonara or salad lyonnaise, or any dish that calls for guanciale. This will make a better substitute than bacon or even pancetta. The knife has a learning curve, and chewing on the first few thick slices is not as fun. Though the flavor is very good, you can chop up the first few learning pieces and toss them in pasta, croquette, or even egg and potato salad. The learning curve is not terribly steep, and within a few tries I could get these perfectly pleasant to nibble pieces. It's not nearly as dry or tough as I expected, and is actually very tender and falls apart easily when sliced thin. The flavor just gets better the more you savor it. Even with my choppy knife skills, pun intended, it's actually as tender as a mid-price range prosciutto de Parma, which is to my pleasant surprise. At this sale price, it is well worth the money in my opinion, even without considering the presentation factor. Although let's face it, the cool look is probably more than half the reason to get this. The bones will make great soups. I've made Valheim's turnip stews with ham bones all the time, and if you've never tried that, you'll be surprised how good they taste. Slicing the whole ham single-handedly would certainly be a pain, but I see no reason to ever do that. You're taking the fun out of it for your holiday guests. Let them slice their own meat. Who wouldn't want to give this a try? You can cut off larger whole pieces and vacuum seal them. They should last a long time in the fridge. The recommended old-school method of storage is simply to cover with fat cap or oil to prevent dry out, top with a kitchen cloth or cling wrap, and store in a cold place in your home, like basement or garage. Cured ham well predates refrigeration. Just remove the oxidized top slice the next time you open it up. And just to expand their usage, they don't all have to be eaten raw. Even the Spanish like to put jamon in their croquette. Throw them in your omelet. Cook vegetables with them. At less than $5 a pound, you don't even need to feel guilty cooking these. I grew up in a culture that cooks high-quality cured ham with tofu and bamboo. There's nothing wrong with cooking good ham. They're perfectly enjoyable in a different way. Hope this video has been helpful if you too are on the fence about jamon.